You are all welcome to today's news analysis. This is not just another political update. This is a move that could change the entire direction of Nigeria's 2027 election. Peter Obi has made a bold decision. Strong claims. And one clear message: he is coming back, and he believes he will win. But there is more behind this story. Questions about power. About control. About whether the system will allow him to run freely. Stay with me to the end, because what he said, and what it means, might surprise you. And if you care about Nigeria's future, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and don't miss any update. Let's go straight in. Everything changed in Uyo. At a major gathering in Akwa Ibom, the message was clear. Peter Obi is no longer playing safe. He has moved on to the African Democratic Congress so far since. Not quietly. Not slowly. This was a full and open declaration. He stood before supporters and said it clearly: he will run for president in 2027. No doubt. No hesitation. Just confidence. But the real shock was why he left his former party. He claimed that as long as he stayed, Independent National Electoral Commission would not recognize its leadership. Think about that. That means, in his words, the system itself was blocking the path. And then he said something even stronger. He believes the government does not want him on the ballot. This is no longer just politics. This is a direct challenge. And from that moment, one thing became clear. 2027 will not be normal. The setting of this announcement also matters. This was not a quiet meeting behind closed doors. It was a public event filled with supporters, leaders, and strong voices from across the movement. The theme of the gathering focused on activating a new political force. A force built on structure, unity, and direction. And in that moment, the message was not just about joining a new party. It was about building a new path. A path that, according to him, avoids internal confusion and external pressure. Because before now, there had been growing tension around leadership within his former political base. Different groups claiming control. Different voices speaking at the same time. That kind of situation creates uncertainty. And in politics, uncertainty is weakness. So this move was not just strategic. It was calculated. A shift away from internal battles, and a move toward a platform he believes can carry his ambition clearly. But beyond party structure, his words pointed to something deeper. A concern about access. A concern about fairness. A concern about whether the system allows equal participation. When a candidate says the electoral body may not recognize his party leadership, it raises serious questions. Questions about independence. Questions about influence. Questions about trust. And these are not small issues. Because elections depend on trust. If people begin to doubt the process, the tension increases. And that is exactly what made this moment powerful. He did not speak in a calm, neutral tone. He spoke with urgency. With clarity. With a sense that time is already moving. He made it clear that waiting is no longer an option. That preparation must start now. That alignment must happen now. And that his decision is final. This also sends a message to both supporters and opponents. To supporters, it is a signal of direction. A clear path to follow. A new structure to build around. To opponents, it is a warning. That he is not stepping back. That he is not slowing down. That he is ready for another contest. And in Nigerian politics, early moves matter. They shape conversations. They influence alliances. They set the tone. This move has already started doing that. Because once a major figure changes platform, it forces others to react. Some will follow. Some will resist. Some will wait and watch. But nobody ignores it. Another important point is the confidence behind his words. He did not speak like someone testing the waters. He spoke like someone who has made up his mind. Someone who believes the path ahead is clear. And that level of confidence can be powerful. Because in politics, perception is everything. If people believe you are strong, they move toward you. If they believe you are unsure, they step back. So this moment was also about perception. About showing strength. About sending a signal that he is still a major force. And that he is entering the 2027 race with full intention. At the same time, the mention of being blocked adds another layer. It creates a narrative. A narrative of resistance. A narrative of challenge. A narrative that can energize supporters. Because people often rally behind what they see as unfair treatment. It builds emotion. It builds loyalty. It builds momentum. And momentum is key in any election. So this was not just an announcement. It was the start of a new phase. A phase where the focus shifts from preparation to action. Where the conversation moves from possibility to certainty. And where one of Nigeria's most talked about political figures takes a bold step forward, fully aware of the risks, the pressure, and the battle ahead. Then came the part that got everyone talking. Peter Obi did not hold back. He said he will contest the election no matter what. Even if it is held anywhere. Even if the rules are changed. And then he made a bold promise. If results are not transmitted, they will transmit it themselves. That statement alone changed the mood. Because it speaks to trust. Or the lack of it. It raises serious concern about the electoral process and how much confidence the public should have in it. When a major political figure openly questions how results may be handled, it sends a strong signal across the country. It tells supporters to stay alert. It tells observers to pay attention. And it tells institutions that their actions will be closely watched. This is not a small claim. It touches the core of democracy. Because elections are not just about voting. They are about counting, reporting, and accepting results. If any part of that chain is questioned, tension begins to rise. And that is exactly what this statement has done. It has introduced a new level of urgency into the conversation around 2027. He did not stop there. He moved directly to the state of the economy. His words were clear and direct. He said the current administration has taken more loans than any government before it. That is a serious accusation. Because borrowing is not just about today. It is about tomorrow. It is about how those loans will be repaid. And who will carry the burden? According to him, many of these loans will be paid between 2045 and 2050. That timeline is important. It means the impact goes far beyond the present leadership. It affects future governments. It affects future workers. It affects future generations. This is where the message becomes deeper. Because it is no longer about politics alone. It becomes about responsibility. He painted a picture of a country where decisions made today could shape hardship tomorrow. Where debt continues to grow while solutions remain unclear. And in a country already facing economic pressure, that message resonates strongly. People are already dealing with rising costs. Food prices. Transport. Basic needs. So when debt is discussed, it connects quickly with everyday reality. It becomes personal. It becomes urgent. And then he turned to governance. Not just policy, but leadership itself. He spoke about corruption. Not in a general way, but in a direct and practical sense. He said corruption can be reduced drastically if leaders and their families stay away from it. That statement may sound simple, but it carries weight. Because it points to personal discipline. It suggests that leadership is not just about systems, but about choices. Choices made at the top. He then used his own experience to support that claim. During his time in office, he said he avoided personal gain from public resources. No allocation of land to himself. No benefit to family. He made it clear that if anyone finds evidence against that, they should bring it forward. That level of openness is meant to build trust. It presents a standard. A standard he believes leaders should follow. And in a political environment where trust is often low, such statements are designed to stand out. At the same time, it also invites scrutiny. Because when a leader speaks with that level of confidence, the public expects consistency. They expect proof. They expect accountability. So while the message is strong, it also raises expectations. And expectations in politics can be powerful. They can build support. But they can also create pressure. Another key part of his message is the link between leadership and national progress. He pointed to countries that have achieved growth through investment in key areas. Education. Healthcare. According to him, these are not optional sectors. They are the foundation of development. Without them, progress slows down. With them, opportunities expand. This is a long-term view. A shift away from short-term fixes. A focus on building systems that last. And that message is aimed at voters who are tired of quick promises with no lasting impact. It speaks to those who want structure, planning, and results. At this stage, his position is becoming clearer. He is not just presenting himself as a candidate. He is presenting a direction. A different approach to leadership? One that combines economic caution, institutional concern, and personal accountability. But the bigger question remains. Will these words translate into action? Because in Nigerian politics, strong speeches are common. What matters is execution. What matters is delivery. And as the country moves closer to another election cycle, every statement will be tested. Every promise will be examined. Every claim will be questioned. For now, what stands out is the tone. Firm. Direct. Unapologetic. A tone that signals readiness. A tone that shows he understands the weight of the moment. And a tone that makes one thing very clear. The contest ahead will not just be about winning power. It will be about shaping the future direction of the country. This is no longer about one man. At the same gathering, the message from key voices within the movement was clear and focused. The push toward 2027 has already begun. Supporters are no longer being asked to wait. They are being asked to act. Organize. Mobilize. Prepare. The direction is now centered on one platform, the African Democratic Congress. This is being presented not just as a political option, but as a vehicle for change. A structure that, according to them, can carry a new kind of energy into the next election. And that message is spreading fast. Across states. Across groups. Across different levels of support. Because what is being built is not just a campaign. It is a movement with a clear target. At the center of this push are coordinators and organizers who are already laying the groundwork. They are calling for unity. They are calling for discipline. They are calling for focus. Because without structure, momentum can fade. And they understand that early preparation can shape the outcome. One of the strongest points raised at the event is that this election goes beyond any single individual. It is being framed as a generational moment. A chance to reset priorities. A chance to redirect the country's path. That framing is important. Because it shifts attention from personality to purpose. From individual ambition to collective need. And the issues being highlighted are clear and relatable. Jobs for young people. Security for families. Dignity for workers. Hope for ordinary citizens. These are not abstract ideas. They are daily realities for millions of Nigerians. And by placing these issues at the center, the message becomes more powerful. It connects directly with lived experience. At the same time, it raises the stakes. Because when expectations are built around real problems, the demand for results becomes stronger. People are no longer satisfied with promises alone. They want clear direction. They want measurable change. They want leadership that responds to their situation. This is where the strategy becomes more defined. The movement is not just speaking to supporters. It is reaching out to undecided voters, to those who are frustrated, to those who feel left out, to those who are still watching and waiting. And that group is large. Very large. Winning them over will be key. But that will require more than speeches. It will require organization at every level, from national leadership down to local communities. It will require coordination, clear communication, consistent messaging, and most importantly, trust. Because trust remains one of the biggest challenges in Nigerian politics. Many people have seen promises come and go. They have heard strong words before. So convincing them again will not be easy. This is why the call for mobilization is strong. It is not just about numbers. It is about belief. It is about creating a sense of ownership. A feeling that people are part of something bigger than themselves. That their voice matters. That their participation can make a difference. And that is how movements grow. Not just through leadership, but through shared purpose. Another important factor is timing. The election may still be some distance away, but the political atmosphere is already forming. Decisions made now will shape alliances later. Early positioning can influence perception. And perception can influence support. So this phase is critical. It is where foundations are built. Where networks are formed. Where strategies are tested. And where strengths and weaknesses begin to show. At the same time, there is an awareness of the challenges ahead. The political space is competitive. Resources matter. Influence matters. Structure matters. And navigating all of that will require careful planning. It will require resilience. Because pressure will come. From different directions. At different times. But the tone from the gathering suggests readiness. A readiness to engage. A readiness to compete. A readiness to push forward despite obstacles. And that tone is important. Because it sets the mood for what is coming. It signals that this will not be a quiet build-up. It will be active. It will be intense. It will demand attention. As things continue to develop, one reality stands out. The 2027 election is already taking shape. Not in the future. But now. Through statements. Through alignment. Through mobilization. And with each passing moment, the picture becomes clearer. New alliances will emerge. Old structures may shift. New strategies will take form. And the political landscape will continue to evolve. At the center of it all is a growing push for change. A push driven by expectation. By frustration. By hope. Whether that push will lead to real transformation remains to be seen. But what is certain is this. The process has started. The movement is active. And the path to 2027 is no longer a distant idea. It is a developing reality that will continue to unfold with every decision, every action, and every response from both leaders and the public.